Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Learning from Home Tip of the Day. We're up to number 27, and that's all about motivation and how to motivate your child while learning from home. So motivation are the needs, the thoughts, or the emotions that give us energy to act, that directs our action and sustains our action, so keeps it going. And there's commonly viewed as two types of motivation. Intrinsic motivation is the desire that comes from inside ourselves. So that could be around growth, enjoyment, purpose, curiosity, passion, self-expression, belonging, autonomy, wanting to be our own person, sense of satisfaction and fun. So all those things drive us from inside to act. Then there are also what are called extrinsic motivations. So these come from outside of us. So things like competition and rewards and screen time, stickers, points, marks, praise. These are all, they're still positive things. So it doesn't necessarily mean extrinsic motivation is a bad thing. We can have positive extrinsic motivations, and we can also have negative extrinsic motivations. So things like wanting to comply, punishment, fear, nagging, and threats. And often these extrinsic motivations are seen as the carrot and the stick. So the carrot are those little things that entice us to do things, and the stick is the fear of those negative consequences. And generally speaking, we have intrinsic motivation for some things, but other things we're not so motivated. So what do we do if our child is not intrinsically motivated? Because that's the ideal. We want them to do things not because we're telling them to or because we're threatening them or promising them a reward, but that's not going to be the case all the time. So some of the things you can be doing is talking with your child about why these things are important, so that they're understanding, even though I don't like it, okay, I can see why it's important. Giving them lots of choice is really important as well. Choosing the reward or the consequence for when they do the task they don't find intrinsically motivating. And making sure that the task itself and the reward or the consequence aligns to their values and their needs. Because when all these things happen, it means that the child can then internalise that and take that on themselves and be self-directed, meaning we don't have to be nagging them all the time. When we apply external threats and rewards of extrinsic motivation that don't match with the child's beliefs and their own feelings, and they don't have a choice in it, then that's when we really have a struggle. So what are some of the things you can do right now to help your child's motivation? So like we mentioned, choices is really important, setting goals and giving feedback around those goals, specific feedback, recording progress, having a little chart where they can see, oh, I've done this and I've done this and I've made this gain and now I know this and I didn't know it before. And really focusing on the learning and growth rather than achievement is really important. And we talked about that in our session on feedback for a growth mindset as well. Showing interest and enthusiasm in what your child is doing can be really helpful too. If you're interested and enthusiastic, then it helps them to be. Limiting stress is really important. So making sure that they've got breaks, they're eating well and regularly, they're getting lots of exercise, they're sleeping well, and that whole environment is calm and a place where they can focus. Breaking things down into smaller steps can be helpful. Reminding and helping instead of telling. It's really, really hard as a parent to do that, I know. And being in control of our own reactions to that as well. So if we're feeling that we're getting stressed, we're getting upset or angry, then that's going to send our child's motivation out the window. And the other one that's really important is modeling being a learner for your child too, so they can see that this is not just something they have to do. It's something that as adults we do, and something that can be enjoyable and fun. So if you want to know more, I've got some great links here to some sites that talk about motivation. But remember that motivation naturally goes up and down anyway. And when it does go down, it's okay to have a break and refresh, do something different, walk away from the activity, even the physical space that you're in, and give yourself time and give your child time to redevelop that motivation and rest and recover as well. That's really important. Any suggestions, any further tips that you've got, please pop them in the chat. Questions too. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.